Japan earned the title of the Land of the Rising Sun owing to the belief that from the country's highest peak, Mount Fuji, standing at 12,389 feet, 3,776 meters, one witnesses the first light of each new day. Appropriately, Mount Fuji has come to be a national symbol of Japan and is considered by many Japanese as the most sacred mountain in their country. A major ley line intersects Mount Fuji, making it one of the 12 most important energy points in the world, Gate 9. The mountains of Japan have long been revered as sacred places since ancient times, giving birth to a substantial body of myths concerning their divine origins, resident deities, and spiritual powers, a collection scholars refer to as Sangaku Shinko, meaning mountain creed. This phenomenon mostly arose through the indigenous religion of Shinto, which took root sometime before the 6th century AD. According to Shinto belief, natural features such as trees, lakes, streams, rocks, and mountains serve as dwelling places for spirits known as kami. The different spirits exert influence over human affairs and respond to human prayer and ritual. Kami are believed to be particularly concentrated in mountainous areas, leading to the construction of shrines to mark these sacred spots. The kami spirit of Mount Fuji was said to be a female, and another mountain, Miyanoshita, was a male and stood taller. In a fit of anger, Fuji struck the god of Miyanoshita on the head, causing his skull to crack into 8 smaller mountain peaks. This act solidified Fuji's status as the highest mountain in Japan for eternity. Another origin story was that after a fiery eruption in 286 BCE, Mount Fuji emerged suddenly, created in a single night by ancient gods. Due to its earlier volcanic activity, Mount Fuji was initially perceived as the abode of a fire god. In fact, the name Fuji most likely originated from the indigenous word Fuchi, the name of the goddess of fire, the guardian of home and hearth in the beliefs of the semi-nomadic Ainu people who inhabited the northern islands of Japan. To appease the god responsible for the volcano's eruptions, a shrine was built around 800 AD near the base of the mountain. The introduction of Buddhism from China in the 6th century further developed the practice of mountain worship. Buddhists regard Fuji as the abode of the Buddha of all illuminating wisdom, Dainichi Nyorai. In the 9th century, a religious sect called Shugendo emerged, basing its doctrine and practice on mountain climbing itself. It is traditionally considered that Fuji was first climbed by the founder of their sect, En-no Gyoja, in 663 AD. By the 14th century, a pilgrim route had been established to its summit. Wearing white clothes and oversized straw hats, the pilgrims formed processions accompanied by ringing bells and chanting, "May our 6 senses be pure, and the weather on the honorable mountain be fair." Viewing mountain climbing as a metaphor for the spiritual ascent to enlightenment, Mount Fuji was divided into 3 zones. The everyday world had its location at the bottom of Mount Fuji in the zone called Kusayama. Another zone, Kiyama, was the transient realm between the world of humans and the abode of gods. The third zone, Yakeyama, located at the top, was the realm of the gods, Buddha, and death. The summit is named Zenjo, a Buddhist term describing perfect concentration. By climbing the mountain, one is believed to benefit from the washing away of sins, healing, and the granting of wishes. For the Shugendo practitioners, some even seek to commune with the deities on mountain summits to obtain supernatural powers. In the 17th century, a number of cults were founded, based on visions received by hermit prophets settled in caves on the flanks of the mountain. The most influential of these cults was Fuji-Ko, whose charismatic founder starved himself to death on the mountain in 1733 as a sacrifice to implore the gods to deliver Japan from a famine that began as a result of the last eruption of Fuji in 1707. The movement spread, and Mount Fuji became a symbol of stability and strength during a time when Japan was racked by civil wars and economic collapse. During the Meiji era, 1868 to 1912, a period of intense modernization in Japan, women were finally allowed to climb Fujisan. This era also coincided with a rebirth of Shinto as the state religion. However, the Shinto and the Fuji cult suffered a setback with the defeat in World War II, when many Japanese felt betrayed by the mountain. Today, Mount Fuji has become an important religious center, Nearly 2,000 religious organizations are based around the mountain, including one of Japan's largest Buddhist sections. More than 400,000 people make the climb during the official safe season, July 1st to August 31st. According to tradition, every Japanese should climb Mount Fuji at least once in his or her lifetime. Those unable to make the climb use lava sand from the mountain to create miniature Fujis in home gardens and Shinto shrines. Each of the routes has 10 rest stations. At each of these stations, a character is burned into the pilgrim's walking staff. The most popular route has 99 switchbacks, and though arduous, it can be accomplished by anyone in reasonable physical condition. A focal point of the climb is the place where the founder of Fuji-Ko fasted to death. The most auspicious time to arrive at the top is in time for dawn, but in all climbs, the pilgrim ritually hikes around the crater rim. Since Mount Fuji is considered a sacred circle or mandala by Buddhists, there are details at the crater rim that are taken as manifestations of the lotus petals on which the Buddha rests. Customarily, pilgrims start at a shrine at the base of the mountain, Fujisan Hongu Sengen Taisha Shrine. This shrine, which used to house the fire god, has now been replaced by the Shinto goddess of flowering trees, Kanahana Sakuya Hime, Buddhist-derived name of Sengen, also considered a deity of agriculture and fertility. She has become the principal deity of the sacred mountain, revered in Shinto shrines at Fuji's base and summit. At the end of each climbing season, she is honored in a fire ceremony where a group of men carries a lacquered model of the mountain, weighing well over a ton, while boys carry a smaller model. These replicas are lit up at the shrine at the base of Mount Fuji under the leadership of Shinto priests. At the foot of the mountain is a dense forest, Aokigahara. In the 19th century, it was used for the abandonment of unwanted babies and the frail elderly. It is now considered one of the most haunted forests in the world, and the scene of many suicides.